I think I'm becoming a little bit of a fog photographer. When I think about fog photography or photography that evokes that sort of emotion, I think of the works of Todd Heidel. And back in late 2023, I came across his work, and that has sort of influenced my love for that type of photography. I feel like fog gives your images this certain type of mystery and je ne sais quoi, and improves your composition and just gives your photos that's something different than shooting under normal circumstances. I've also never thought about really going out to shoot during fog, mostly because where I live in Toronto, Canada, we do not get that much fog. In fact, we really don't get fog at all, but this all changed back in January. You see, every Saturday morning, I usually go out to shoot on my medium format Pentax 6x7. On one of those Saturday mornings in January, I saw that we were gonna get some fog. I'm like, you know what, let me do some research, see what I need to do, see how I'm going to be able to get good photos in these foggy conditions. And then I went out to go shoot fog. I delayed that video for a couple of months to the point where I have 3 days now where I went out on Saturday mornings and I got foggy conditions. Now, I don't know why we're getting that much fog here in Toronto, Canada, or maybe I just haven't been watching the weather that much to see that we're getting fog. But again, climate change, anyways, we're not getting into all that. I had 3 days in January, March, and this past beginning of May in 2024, where I went out under foggy conditions to capture photos. Throughout this video, I'll also be sharing some interesting facts that I learned about fog, so you can learn them as well. Also be sharing my thoughts about what I think about some of the images and the conditions that I shot them under. And at the end of the video, I'll be giving you 3 tips that I've learned that has helped me take better fog photos. So stick through to the end if you want to learn some of that. But for now, let's dive right into this one. Starting with this foggy day in May, this is the thickest fog I think I've ever seen in this part of the world. And I wanted to load up some black and white in my camera and head out to some locations that I previously scouted that I thought would look good under foggy conditions. This little guy just walked in my shop, but let's see what the shot looks like. He didn't really shot I'm not here, just kind of squint. Did you know that fog is basically a cloud that has come down to the ground? I know, right? That's a little crazy. In these parts of the world, fog usually comes when there's a little bit of a dramatic change in weather. Let's say the previous day was really cold and the next day is going to be hot. In the nighttime, there's going to be like a switch in the weather that's going to lead to a lot of mist developing in the sky and the atmosphere, which leads to foggy conditions. On the next foggy day in March of 2024, I had some Portrait 100T loaded in my Pentax 6.7. That's from a previous video that I was working on, so I just wanted to finish off the shots that I had on this camera before I loaded in some black and white film. You often hear mist and fog used interchangeably, but there is a difference between mist and fog. If you can see far into the conditions, then it's probably a misty day. But if you can't see that far out and it's a very thick, like misty conditions, then that is fog. So it literally depends on how thick it is and how far you can see. I've got FP4 and some expired T-Max 100. What should I shoot? The T-Max was pretty nice last time I shot it, but the FP4 has... This one expired in 2004, so I'm gonna have to drop it 2 stops. So that would be like a 25 ISO film. But I do have a tripod versus FP4. I think FP4 is gonna give me more blacks, so I'm gonna go with it. FP4 from 2021. I'm just walking here, trying to get a good composition for this shot, and I'm walking around this school. I don't even know the name of the school, but the fog is looking nice. Actually, I see a shot here that I'm going to set up and take and see if I like this one. The title of foggiest place in the world goes to an area around the Atlantic Ocean called Grand Banks, which lies off the coast of Newfoundland here in Canada. The light here is actually pretty amazing. I haven't seen light like this before. I have my Pentax all set up to get a shot here. But something that's interesting about fog is that it comes when it's not too cold, it's not hot. It's like in the middle of like winter and spring is when it usually comes out, but we're having like weird weather this week. So we're getting beautiful scenes like this where you're getting wonderful silhouettes, and I can see the actual like rain or mist or whatever this is that's in the air. So I'm gonna have to clean my lenses. There's just like beautiful shots everywhere. I've literally been in this same scene for about 30 minutes now, just like composing different shots on my Leica and on the Pentax 6.7. So these shots are actually going to be pretty sick. So just checking this out right here. Over the past 3 months, doing research and actually going out to shoot during fog, I've learned a lot that has helped me take some of the good photos that you've seen in this video. Now I want to give you 3 tips that has helped me along the journey, and hopefully it helps you as well. The first thing you want to do is check the weather. Sometimes when it says it's going to be foggy, it's not actually going to be foggy. And sometimes when it says it's not going to be that foggy, it turns out to be really foggy. Especially in my part of the world, the weather is always changing, always moving around. Sometimes I check it 3 days before and I get all excited about a foggy day coming. The day before or the morning of, I get out, nothing. So you always have to be checking, always have to actually go out and see if there's going to be any fog, because that's actually going to influence the type of photos that you're going to get. The next thing I'd say is actually go out early in the morning. Fog usually appears late night, early morning during dawn. So you actually want to go out early in the morning to go take photos. You don't want to leave it too long. You don't want to leave it too late unless you miss foggy conditions. At least in my part of the world, that's how it occurs. In your part of the world, it might be different. You have to do some research and find out what works best for you where you live in the world. Next thing I say is plan your compositions. Whenever I'm driving around on the train, on the bus, however I'm getting around in the world, I'm always looking for different compositions and always trying to find different places where I can go take photos. Foggy conditions is no different. Sometimes I see a place, I'm like, there was a little bit of a mist here, there's a little bit of a fog here. This will look interesting. Take a mental note, take a physical note in your phone. If you write things down, take notes and keep like a list of places where you think foggy conditions would look good, or even sunset, lighting, anything that you feel like will look good. Take notes, keep those locations in mind, and make sure you go out and take photos on that day, because when the fog appears, you won't have too much time to think, where should I go, where should I go? You already have a list of places you can go to. You can just go out, take those compositions, and have good photos. Another bonus tip that I learned along the way is that fog usually appears close to water. So if you live close to water, if you have a creek, river, lake close to where you live, go out there during foggy days, you'll probably get thicker fog around bodies of water. I'm going to be putting some of the photos that I made during these days up for sale on my website as prints. If you want to support me, if you want to support this channel, please buy some prints. It goes a long way to making sure I continue to make these videos. And that brings me to the end of this video. If this video has brought you any value, please make sure you do the things, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It makes me feel good. It makes me know that people are watching and people appreciate the content. Until next time, make sure you stay safe, make sure you shoot film, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. I'm getting a little hungry here. I need to eat some breakfast. My belly is actually rumbling.